What price point is the best price point for a low ticket offer?
Ultimately, you want to sell digital products at a no-brainer price point to your audience, which is not necessarily the same for every audience. Some audiences' no-brainer price point is going to be significantly less than others, especially like if you're in an ultra luxury market. So the majority of people who are serving average consumers, this is typically under $100. And then on a business to consumer basis, you're going to see that price point closer to under $50. Under those thresholds, people are more like willy-nilly to throw that amount of money around.
Welcome back to the Art of Online Business podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that Abagail Pumphrey is back with us for a second episode. Hi, Abagail.
Thanks for having me back.
You're welcome. I'll give you an intro quick. She's the co-founder and CEO of Boss Project, which has been a driving force in the creative entrepreneur industry since 2015. And you did hear me right. I said she's back on the second episode. If you want to catch her journey from when she started to when she had a very traumatizing brain injury that took 5 years to recover from, and know how, well, kind of get highlights and snapshots of how she built her business from there up to 7 figures, you're going to want to watch the previous episode. But for now, I'll continue her intro, which is that she empowers online businesses from around the globe. She served more than 37,000 students, helping them to streamline their operations and achieve their business goals. She's also the host of the Strategy Hour podcast, which is a staple in the business community. And it's continually still since 2017 when you started it, right, Abby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's continually topping business and management charts on Apple with millions of listeners from around the world. And that, as a fellow podcaster, is hard to do. Abagail's superpower lies in her ability to break down complex concepts into easy to implement and duplicatable systems. I'm going to stop there. We could keep going about just how much you've achieved, but it's really cool that I got to interview you in the last episode about how you went from, well, 0 to building a 7-figure business. And in this episode, you're going to be sharing about leveraging a digital product to get paid to bring in qualified leads. This is what I consider, as a Facebook ads manager, the holy grail. If you can figure it out, and you're going to map it out so that the listener can figure out how to make a digital product and then get paid traffic, if you will, to bring in qualified leads.
Well, where do you want to start? Because this is kind of a big topic. If there's any specific starting point you want me to dig into, I'm happy to.
I feel like the listener would be very curious. What is the filter that you're using when you are looking for a product that's going to hit, that's going to sell?
So I think when we are looking at what's going to sell, we have to consider a couple of different things. And, everyone always talks about we have to know who we're serving and what problem we're solving. And I think that is an incredibly important aspect of it, but it's not all of it. Who you're serving is going to help you narrow in on making sure you're attracting the right people that are ultimately going to be those qualified leads that you're looking for. What problem you're solving needs to be very specific to that audience. It needs to be aligned with their own journey and make sense for where they're at. Because sometimes we will present solutions to problems that this person will face, but we're at the wrong point in their timeline because this person is, like so many of us, we're all going on a journey. We're all experiencing different things along our path, and we will have similar aspects to the way we approach things. And I think sometimes it's easiest to think about it if we look at a very specific example. So like, let's say that what?
Can I give you a specific example?
Oh, sure.
All right. So in this example, I'm an online course creator bringing in about $4,000 to $5,000 a month from my course. It's a mid-ticket offer right at $597. And I also am already running ads to a lead magnet. So I know that I can bring in qualified leads and they will convert into profitably into my upcoming course launch. At this point, I'd like to know in this example, how do we go from that success, an offer that's lower ticket, that I can run ads to profitably?
Yeah, so you would need to identify what is the problem that needs to be solved for someone to be ready for what your signature program offers. So the example I was going to share was more specific to a topic. So, say you are someone who is serving a new mom, and this new mom has various things that they're worried about because they got a new baby at home. And if you think about it, they can't worry about everything all at once. And so initially, they're worried about like gestational development, and then they're worried about birth, and then they're worried about developmental milestones, and then they're worried about weaning, and then they're worried about walking, and then they're worried, you know what I'm saying? And so they're going through these very specific things, but there is a timeline to that. There is a very specific order in which most people going through that journey are going to experience. And I think often people, when they're not seeing success, when they're not seeing sales, they may present the right solution at the wrong time. And so we need to be really mindful about where are they on their journey right before your other offers make sense. And how can we make sure we're solving the problems that are going to get them ready and equipped and, you know, willing to go on the next stage of that journey.
I like it. So, what example could we use? The one that I shared or the one that you shared to go into like the number one mistake that people make when choosing a digital product? I would say even pulling some either choosing a brand new product or pulling a portion of their current course that's already selling.
So, like you said, you do have the option of taking something like module 1, or like considering it module 1 or module 0 of an existing offer and pulling that out and making that your low end offer. That's a totally acceptable way to move through this. The issue that a lot of people face, especially people that are doing that, is they're like, I want to get them ready. So by getting them ready, I want them to make a commitment. And therein lies the problem, which I hear me out. So people will often say no simply because they think they can't do it. And so it ends up being that you're selling to them twice. You are getting them excited about a topic and, you know, willing to like see this as an opportunity, and they could have total buy-in that this does make sense. But then if they go down that road.
Would you like to have a Meta Ads Manager look at your ads and coach you step by step so you can make them work better? Well, that's me, and I can do that with you. Over the course of 28 days, you'll get unlimited access to me so that you can learn how to make your ads perform the way you hoped so that your business can bring in lots more leads. Or if you're running direct to sales kind of ads, like a self liquidating offer funnel, it can be more profitable. Go down to the description below and book a call with me now.
You're making them feel this necessity to commit to doing or implementing something. And a digital product that is going to be super effective at being sold is one where you are doing most of the lift for them. Like it's almost as if it's done for you, but without the service component. You are making it almost impossible for them to screw up, and they are able to implement it like we're talking in minutes or hours, not days, weeks, months, years. So we have to solve a very, very quick problem and do it for them. Um, but by making it a commitment, like you're requiring them to buy in twice. And because they have to buy into the idea, and then they have to buy into their willingness to complete it. And you will convert people. I'm not saying you won't convert people that way, but you're going to see a much lower conversion rate. So just for example, often this comes down to messaging. It's not necessarily what's going inside that has to dramatically change. It's how you're framing it up. So say, for example, you were in the fitness space and you wanted to sell people on this like 30-day yoga challenge. Well, now someone is like, got to believe in the idea of how yoga can help their life, but they also have to believe that they have 30 days that they could commit every single day to implementing this challenge. All of a sudden they're overwhelmed. And so instead, you could provide poses that are similar things that you would be teaching inside a challenge, but offer them on a as needed basis. So you could say, here is a guide to 15 poses that help reduce stress in 5 minutes or less. And now all of a sudden it's about stress relief, and you're associating it to a problem that feels really relatable. They feel like they can pick up this tool and use it when they need it, but they're not required to implement anything. So ultimately, you're not even necessarily looking for them to complete the digital product, which I know some of you are like, what? That's not necessarily the point. They want to know they have access to it. And sometimes that's enough.
So, did I understand correctly that it's still the same challenge on the inside of the product?
It could be. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It's probably smaller. Like you instead of having 30 days of 20-minute, workouts where you're like going through a whole flow, maybe you're teaching them one flow, and you're teaching them, you're breaking down 15 of the poses that are in one flow. But you don't have to have a different flow for every day of the week for 30 days. Like that's incrementally so much more work for you and a lot harder to sell, especially now. I'm not saying it hasn't sold in the past. I'm not saying that hasn't been an effective strategy previously, but I'm not seeing that convert as well in the market today.
So, the question that I know you have been asked many times, because I get asked this plenty of times when I do one on one coaching, and I would love to hear your perspective since you don't manage ads, right? What price point is the best price point for a low ticket offer? You knew I was going to ask that, didn't you?
So, in terms of price point, I really look to psychology for the answer to this. And ultimately, you want to sell digital products at a no brainer price point to your audience, which is not necessarily the same for every audience. Some audiences' no brainer price point is going to be significantly less than others, especially like if you're in an ultra luxury market. Like you may have a $10,000 no-brainer price point. I wouldn't say that's the majority though. Okay? So the majority of people who are serving average consumers, I would say on a B2B basis, this is typically under $100. And then on a business to consumer basis, you're going to see that price point closer to under $50. And I'm not saying there's a magic number to this. It just tends to be that under those thresholds, people are more like willy-nilly to throw that amount of money around. Because it's numbers they're used to seeing at the grocery store, picking up a couple shirts at their favorite retailer or whatever. Like it's a number that's not scary to them, like versus several hundred. You're starting to get into this, well, I need to talk to somebody about it, or I need to like run this idea by someone else and get outside validation. Under 100, you tend to have people that are willing to make the decision themselves and make it pretty quickly, if not immediately.
Cringe or not cringe? Comparing the price of the low ticket offer to its equivalent in Starbucks purchases of whatever's on their menu.
I mean, I've definitely had that on my sales page before.
My hand is up too. My hand is up
I
too.
mean, I'm not sure anyone who I've never met someone who hasn't. I don't necessarily use that right now. I tend to prefer my strategy that I feel like I like that's working right now, that feels an alignment for me right now, is I will show it as valued greater and make it look like it's on sale. And it is, I mean, it is on sale. I could raise the price at any time, and I believe in the value that it's listed at. But showing, a slashed out price with today's price tends to work better for me today than like having some analogy about what it's compared to.
Okay, okay. What about bonus sections? Since we kind of went down the pricing route, and now like I have a sales page in my mind visually. So, excuse me, are you including bonuses?
I mean, sometimes I don't think it's necessary for a digital product, because ultimately the reason a digital product should convert is because of the solution that they're going to be getting in such a short time period. So if you can show that promise and then show proof that you are capable of making this promise come to life, that is going to go far further than a bonus. I feel like bonuses tend to work better for urgency. So if you're trying to convert someone now, you may add a bonus in something like a funnel. Like if you buy in the next 24 hours, you'll get XYZ2. Or you could add a bonus on a higher priced, not necessarily high price, but like a mid-tier course or signature program, as, the tipping over point of like, I was ready and I was willing, but I like had some price hesitations. A bonus might get someone over a hesitation, but I don't necessarily think a bonus is necessary in the world of digital products, as long as your promise and proof are there.
Bonus should get somebody over a hesitation. That is good wisdom to take away. Before I ask you, because in the beginning and on the previous episode, I had teased that you're going to share how to also strategically position this offer so that people will buy other offers down the line from your business. I would love for you to go into detail about that. But first, can you tell me a little bit more about this evergreen free challenge that you have?
Yeah. So I love helping people get their first or next digital product out into the world. And I know that a lot of the times it comes down to feeling like you're battling all this other stuff that's going on all the time, and getting through it, it feels like a lot. And so I decided to condense it down to one day. So rather than you working on it a little bit, an hour here, an hour there, hour next week, hour 2 weeks from now, and you still haven't launched anything, we're going to go through and we're going to decide on your offer. We are going to build out your sales page, and you're going to get it launched on pre-sale in just one day. So you don't necessarily have to have the digital product built. We will get it ready to market, and you will get sales in the door before you even build it. So you'll be able to validate that offer. Now you can sign up for the free challenge by going to bossproject.com/launch. It's completely free. You'll be able to go through the whole challenge, implement it. We've had over 7,000 people go through the challenge and take it on, and we are featuring many of those people in our digital product directory. So once you launch your digital product, you can report back to us that you've done it and you're excited about it, and we will add you to our website and feature you.
That sounds awesome. Bossproject.com/launch. One day to a digital product fast track, or to a digital product launch with a sales page for pre-sale. That sounds good. All right.
It is good. It's so good.
You're
I
like,
love
it
it.
is good. 7,000 people have showed me it's good.
I am confident. It is fantastic.
The listener's like, but Abigail, how can I sell something that I haven't created yet?
I hear you. I hear you. And we do cover this inside the challenge, because I know this is a question that is inevitably going to come up. But I want you to know that in every other industry, this is normal. And this is exactly the buying structure that you're going through. So if you go to sit down at a restaurant, do you think they already have your meal prepared in the bag? If they do, ew, it's probably not going to be as good. it's probably not going to be as good. But if they don't make your order until you say, yes, I want this, you're going to get a better experience. If you go to purchase a home, you go under contract and you go through a whole slew of things before there's any sort of exchange of hands. And so, especially if we're talking about new construction, like you're definitely not getting a house without pre-purchasing it. And so, this is common across many different industries. And for whatever reason, far less common in the digital world. I think so many people assume if we're going to sell something that you have to give instant access. But I think that it's actually such a huge benefit for you to sell on pre-sale, because not only are you getting paid up front so that you actually have the time to slow down and build the thing and have the funds necessary to do that, but also you have an opportunity to survey these people and actually get to know their needs. And so every time I do a digital product or a course launch, the first thing I have them do after they enroll, after they go through like a welcome hype video that I'm so excited that they're here, I have them fill out an intake survey. And on that survey, I'm getting to know more about them, more about their business, more about where they're at and their struggles and their challenges. And I always ask them very specific questions to the topic that we're actually covering in whatever program it is. And when you have that data, you can make your product so much stronger, because oftentimes, not only do you see holes in your potential plan of the thing that you plan to implement on, but you see topics that you would have never thought of yourself. But you may see that 20% of the people who came in all are talking about the same problem that you had never considered. And so now you are going to better solve that problem and more fully solve that problem. So the very next time you sell it, you are going to have better testimonials, because the people who came in early, it was very customized to their needs. So they're likely to get better results, and which are only going to give you better proof that you can utilize in the future to go on and sell it. I'm glad we're on the same page.
We're on the same page. I mean, it's like I'm buying an airplane ticket to an event in Dallas, and I have to pay for it before my flight gets here.
Uh-huh. Yep, that's true in every industry. You have to pay for it before you get it. So,
Okay, now you've shown me, the listener, the steps to picking a digital product, right? But how do we make sure to pick one that aligns with a subsequent purchase or aligns with another product so that a customer is more likely to go on and purchase more from us in the future?
So remember how we talked about that timeline that your ideal client is on, and they're going through these various problems and you're solving them. So I talk about this inside my accelerator in a bunch more detail, but ultimately these people are going through and they're jumping from one little problem to the next. But when someone buys something like a course or more signature offer, you are typically solving multiple problems that take someone through like a stage or phase of their life or business. And when we start to think about our offers in a more linear fashion, we can start to see opportunities to create connection points. So you may solve a really tiny problem that's a very specific to right before they encounter this other thing. And then we can offer them the course or the signature offer that makes sense immediately following that. But if we've designed our offers to be in more of an ascension model, where one offer leads directly into the next because we are following the same ideal client, we are going to see so much more lifetime value out of that customer. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, and not the biggest, but it's way up there, is people will start to look at, okay, I'm interested in digital products, courses, and say group programs. And various price points, or maybe instead of a group program, it's a one-on-one service. We can exchange this out, but we're talking about, low, mid, high ticket. People will often take the same problem and solve it 3 different ways instead of solving multiple problems that someone would encounter over time. So, like, for example, say you're a website designer, someone might have like an about page copy template and then, some sort of pre-designed website package. And then this third offer is a custom website. Well, in all 3 scenarios, you're helping someone build their website, whether they're completely doing it themselves with some assistance or you're completely doing it for them. What are they going to buy from you in the future? You don't have anything else for them. You've completely cut yourself off from the other potential offers. And so if you can start to think about offer alignment and that someone could kind of go on a journey with you, you can serve a customer over a longer period of time. Now, a customer you acquire once is 7 times more likely to buy from you again. And so it is often worth it. I think, especially now in kind of the economic time and space we're in, earning someone's trust, that lead is worth so much more to your business when you know you have the ability to work with them more than once. When it's a come in and go, the level of care you have for that client, I mean, as much as you may want to love and care for them, it's going to be so much lower if you know that they're only ever going to get that sale, that one sale. And so if that happens, you end up being solely focused on marketing and sales and not on client fulfillment. And I honestly think ascension models help us be better at delivering great results because you want the person to get the real result so that they're ready for your next thing. And I think it just makes us better at actually serving and teaching people.
It's kind of like the missing piece that I see to so many businesses, an offer that they can sell that pays them to bring in leads.
It's truly an incredible opportunity for people. And, yeah, you could go out and offer a lead magnet. And honestly, I don't have anything wrong with a lead magnet, but the person coming in from something that you're offering completely for free is worth far less to your business long term than someone who purchases from you. So while you may get 10 times less leads potentially by going straight to offer, the people that are going to come in are so much more qualified and they're way more likely to purchase something else from you on a very rapid basis. So I still have those lead magnets out there, but I probably spend 20 or 30% of my time marketing that and 80% of my time marketing paid products.
Yeah, it's more exciting too. I could say so. From the other end of the screen as an ads manager who manages like funnels for clients that have these kind of products, but it's like, great, checking in. We're at $300 of ad spend a day, and the funnel is converting at 2.7, return on ad spend. Let's go. And the business owner is like super happy. Let's keep scaling it up. So it's exciting to have a product that you can get paid for.